high IQ or high level individuals, we don't have a lot of people around us that think like us. And when we don't have a lot of people around us that think like us, we don't have nobody pushing us because you can't have a bunch of yes men around you because once you have a bunch of yes men around you, you don't get pushed to a different level of the level that you want to achieve. When you got somebody around you being like, you know what, you shouldn't have did that wrong, or you shouldn't have did that right, or maybe you should do this, or just kind of push you or nudge you, you get triggered by people that are telling you right things about yourself that you don't want to hear, but it needs to be done. So this is super, super important.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and okay, so moving on to market research. So let's just say that you already brainstormed, you know exactly what problem you want to solve. Now you're trying to figure out who needs help with this certain problem. When you start thinking about when you start brainstorming on what problem you want to solve, you should already have an idea of who's struggling with that problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to dive more into your market research and maybe you want to understand how to find your target audience, a good thing that I used to always do in the beginning is do a lot of surveys. Send a survey to your close friends and family and ask them, like, hey, have you ever experienced this problem? What's challenging when it comes to this? Or what would you do better? Or what would you recommend? Or what are some things that you would like to see in this certain industry? For example, like let's just use Danny because he's a barber. Let's just say that you want to start a business as a barber, and you're like, hey, I have no idea how to stand out. I have no idea who I even want as my clients. Start asking your barber friends, like, who do they work with? Because I think Danny works with a specific audience, doesn't he? He works with
Yes.
like his brand. If you go to his page, like his branding is very, very unique and like very, very specified for his audience. So maybe you want to be a barber for just kids, maybe you want to be a barber for just women, maybe you want to be a barber for just families. Think about that. Think about what kind of experience do they want. Maybe a lot of families are having trouble finding a really, really good family barber because every time they go to, let's just say, like another barber, it's not kid friendly, or maybe the family's just not comfortable with it. That would be a really good opportunity for you to start a business just for kids or just for families.
Market
Um,
research is super, 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 super important, especially if you're trying to take your business or your thoughts or your ideas to the next level. What you do is you research that industry that you're in. Like when I was in Cincinnati before I moved and I started my graphic design company, I started doing photography, I started doing videography. I started to reach out and hang out with those guys that have been doing it for 5 years, those guys that have been doing it for 10 years. Like I stopped hanging around the people I was hanging around with because I wanted to dive deep into what I was really, 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 what I really, really love. And that's the most, and to me, again, that's the most important thing is diving in to what you love. And you got to surround yourself with that industry, right? That's the only way you can get past the problems that you are currently have is by surrounding yourself with people in that industry that have already reached past that level.
Yeah, and also I want to get into some like technical tactics because these are really, really good tactics that also help you find market research by having to do like little to no work. And again, it was just tactics that when I learned them, it blew my mind. But use Google search. Like something that I never really did before was go to Google and let's just say that, oops, not camera.
Yo, misspelling is off today, bro.
Okay, let's just say that you want to start a business for barbers. I'm gonna go ahead and do barber shop business. And now look at all these ideas. So it looks like barbershop business plan, barbershop business cards, barbershop business plan. All these ideas right here,
Top research results.
these are great ideas for content. These are great ideas where you can research and see, what are they doing when it says barbershop business for sale? Like maybe there's businesses that you can already buy. Is there a license needed for that specific industry?
Do
So
leadership and coaching.
again, this is just a really, really good way to do research just by simply looking up the word leadership and what?
Coaching.
Again, looking this up It says training, books, quotes, skills, style. These are all content ideas, and then these are all things that you can research. How can you make training better? How can, what are the books that maybe you need to read?
Yeah.
What are
Or
some quotes that you
suggest.
can do?
Yep.
What are some skills that are needed?
Yep.
What are some skills that you can teach? So this is all a really, really good form of SEO.
This is what your target audience is researching. Every time they go to Google and you have a specific niche, this is what they're researching. Like type in um, video editing. Boom. That's what that's what my niche is looking up every time because Google always gonna give you the top search results of what people want.
So what does this tell you? This tells you that this is a problem that they're searching up because they need a solution for.
Mhm.
So that's where you say, hey, I have a solution for maybe somebody's looking up video editing online. I have a solution and I can teach you how to edit your videos. And maybe you create some kind of content for that. That's automatically a client that you can get just by you searching this up, making a reel, and then teaching others how to edit their content through an app, which you can use CapCut, you can use Adobe Premiere. There's so many apps, but
And that is our form of market research on Google.
so yeah, that's specifically for Google. I want to show you guys on Instagram how I do it. I personally love Instagram because I think Instagram is moving more towards like Google and their SEO is phenomenal now. But I teach this little tactic to my clients all the time because they don't even realize that they can do this. But you guys can see, like, I look up my competitors all the time. Something that I like to do is, for example, like let's just say that you want to start a leadership business. Look up who is in leadership. When I look up leadership, like for example, this is the first one that pops up. It says leadership and business coach. You can see that this is a form of SEO. And now, because she had this in her name, I was able to find her so much quicker and so much easier. So this is something that I teach my clients that if you're on Instagram, you should definitely use your name as a form of SEO so people can find you quicker. For example, mine is marketing. If you're a barber, I would do the same thing. Let's just look up barber and AZ. Their SEO isn't the best, but again, that's an opportunity for you to create that Instagram, and then that way you're standing out. Let's see how many is Barber and Cincy. Yeah, again, there's not a lot. That's a perfect opportunity for you to put those keywords in your name and automatically stand out so people can find you so much faster. But again, the reason I'm showing you guys this is because this is a form of market research. We're researching to see who our competitors are, how are they standing out, how are people looking them up. And again, there's not a lot of barbers. So automatically, if you were to create a Instagram and you put barber along your name right here, you would automatically already stand out.
What does mine say?
I think yours is video. Yep, videographer. So I didn't even have to type the whole word. You guys saw that.
My SEO is amazing on Instagram.
Yeah, I didn't even have to type the whole word, and automatically AZ videographer comes up because this is where he works locally, but this is also his expertise, which is videography. So I just wanted to show you guys because I think that's a really neat trick for you guys to play around with. You can only change your name every 14 days, but I would play around with it because I've tried different ones. I've tried social media strategist. I've tried, what's another one? I've tried like social media strategist and coach, and I've tried a bunch of different ones. But for me, I've just realized that a lot of people are looking up marketing. So that's the keyword that I want to stick with because that's my niche is marketing for coaches and consultants. Yeah, going back to this, so we talked a little bit about the Google surveys, the keywords, but also another thing that we just started doing, and I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, was just texting your friends and family questions. How many times do you text your friends and family like, hey, join my call, or hey, how's your day going? Like simply just ask some questions like, hey, how was your last experience with me? How can I make it better? What did you enjoy about today's call? Hey, if you had to change 3 things in the leadership and coaching space, what would you change?